Good morning. It's early in the morning and I'm preparing to go to the mountains for a little work retreat. I do this about every quarter. It's not really scheduled, but it kind of comes up about every quarter that I need to head out and work on some projects that I struggle to fit in between all of the day-to-day tasks. Way more productive when I'm out in the mountains, when I don't have to be switching between my roles all the time, and I just feel more creative in nature. So there's that too. So I've got more focused time with fewer interruptions. I'm really excited to head out. As occupational therapists, we know that there's that person, environment, occupation, and changing the environment helps us optimize our function. So something I've learned over the last couple of years is get away to get a big project done and you'll be fine. And that helps reduce stress too, because quite often these big projects are looming over my head and I'm feeling quite anxious about them. Just stress in the background, even if I know there's a time to deal with them coming, I can clear them from my plate and move on to the next things. So I'm going to show you how it goes on this process. Some other things I prepared yesterday for the work retreat are some packing items. I've got a bunch of books, notebooks, pads of paper, books for reference, a couple different ring lights and microphones. It's my bigger microphone and my grand plan. Only 3 of these are priority, so 1, 2, 3, and the others are going to wait till after these ones are done. I've been working this plan. This is my old school version of Trello. I love it. Kind of a lot to cart the big whiteboard. I really need to externalize things. When things are tucked away for me not to look at, that can be really challenging. So having them out in the open where I can be reminded of them visually really helps. So I bring my big computer with me rather than my laptop. I find that easier for the intensive long periods of work where I'm stooped over my laptop trying with the tiny keyboard to do graphic design and PowerPoints and things like that. So having my big computer with all of the power it has really makes a big difference. Packing up some food. I'm going to make turkey soup while I'm there to nourish myself throughout the week. Yesterday I spent a lot of time preparing what I'm going to do, what my game plan is while I'm there. And this is a spot where I tend to do a lot of planning, see, with lots of color. So yesterday I sat down to map out what my priorities were. So I used this notebook to map out those priorities. And then I looked at where I can fit them in my schedule for the week. I had to cover up the name there. But yeah, the yellow are OT clients and meetings. These are drives, and listening to stuff on the drive kind of primes me for the work that's coming ahead. Got yoga. A friend of mine, Care, has a lovely yoga class on Sunday evenings, but she moved it to Monday this week. I'll put a link to her yoga class in the comments as well before. And I have my coaching call for my Activate Vitality program. And I reduced the number of clients that I'm seeing this week. Some people prefer to be seen in person and some people could wait till the next week. So those ones got moved. I have my own counseling appointment. And my plan is to work on the business module here. I've got a plan here for what is going to happen with that. I'm going to do my ACT overview module. I'm going to Wednesday do Colorado prep. So I'm speaking in the Occupational Therapists Association of Colorado conference. I'm doing a workshop on Saturday. And so I'm going to spend the whole day Wednesday dedicated to that, aside from a break for my Activate Vitality coaching call. And of course, I'm going to need to get out into nature during that time. And then the time in between my clients on Thursday will be finishing up things from this. And these are blocks of other things when I get back. What I'm working on right now is updating the modules in my Activate Vitality program. That's the program where I support other occupational therapists and building more alignment, fulfillment, meaning, and purpose in the way they work and live. One of my favorite things to do when I come out here is drink my morning coffee, sitting out and watching the light change over the trees. These trees that look like evergreen trees, are actually larches, and they change color in the fall. And this beautiful surprise. It's Tuesday of my work retreat, and I am here enjoying this beautiful environment. Check outside there. So lucky to have this space to use when it's available. Grateful to my brother for sharing it with me. So I arrived, yesterday things went not as planned. I ended up having a much longer coffee with an OT that I really admire in Canmore and getting on the road a little bit late. I ended up having to cope with some stressful experiences actually yesterday evening, and did everything I could to manage them. I tried to applying all the skills I've got in my tool belt, and I still felt them. And that's kind of the point actually, is that quite often we do everything we can to avoid feeling intense feelings, and all of the numbing avoidance and trying to suppress difficult emotions in a difficult situation tend to actually make things worse for us in the long run. They don't help us. We end up working so hard at those avoidance behaviors that we don't engage fully in the meaningful activity. So I was applying all my tools. I was feeling all my feels. I was having trouble sleeping. I got up and wrote down what I was experiencing in a really genuine and authentic way, because that's important to me. It's important to me to communicate clearly, to be open, to show up wholeheartedly, as Brené Brown would say, and work towards solving a problem. And so I was able to finally get to sleep, and woke up this morning to find some great collaborative responses and got things sorted out. That was really meaningful, because relationships and authentic connection are really important to me. I then carried on with the plan of making soup. This weekend was Thanksgiving here in Canada, and so I had turkey and made some delicious turkey soup and set up my work environment. So when I come here to set up my work environment, one of the first things I do is move the dining room table out from under the lamp where it's supposed to be, bring all my notes. This time I brought my old school Trello board, and then I set things all up here so that I've got my ideas organized. These things tend to live in piles of doom at home, which can be a little bit overwhelming. And so I did a lot of work to organize these things before I came, so that I could be specific about using my time blocks for specific tasks, rather than circling through, oh no, I have to do this, and then what about this, and what about that? All that is contained in here. Related resources, more related resources. I'm gonna put some more inspiring things here, things to nurture and take care of myself. It's Thursday of my work retreat, and I haven't completed as much as I thought I would, or hoped I would, or needed to. I had a lot of clients today, and I should really be better about planning work retreats without client time, but I really like to maintain continuity with my clients, and keep the ones that really do need those weekly sessions. So what do? I have another meeting in 50 minutes, and I am going to choose to go for a walk, even though my sense of responsibility and productivity says, no, you could use that 50 minutes to get more work done. I actually will probably get more work done this evening if I get outdoors today. And I will be really regretful if I had come out to this beautiful place and didn't get outdoors at all. So in a moment, I'm going to be the weirdo walking around with a selfie stick and a microphone outdoors. Come along with me. These trees have me thinking about perfection. And as humans, we tend to see where we have room for improvement. And you look at a tree and you go, wow, that's a pretty perfect tree. But when you look a little closer, there's a bare spot in there. There's some broken branches. It wouldn't make a great Christmas tree. It's a little bit sparse. Those two are a little too close together. But you walk around looking at trees and say, these trees, this isn't beautiful at all. These trees are not perfect. They should be perfect. No, we don't do that. So why do we do that for ourselves? Why do we strive for better and better and better, and only look at the things that we're not doing right. Because that's perfectly imperfect. Even though there's a bare spot there, it's perfect. Without actually being perfect. Maybe we could be a little bit more like the trees. I don't think that tree is worrying that it didn't get enough done this week. Do you? It's just doing its thing, being a tree. A little bit of nature. Saying hello to me on my first movement walk. These guys don't care that I'm supposed to. Yeah, I really should have stayed in, worked on my project a little bit more. This is terrible. It really doesn't get any more beautiful. See those beautiful mountains and all the larches, a beautiful river. I don't know if you can hear the river. I think I'll actually be a lot more creative when I get back to my work. There's some more soup to eat too. Hi, I had a wonderful time in Kimberley, but as I mentioned, I didn't quite get as much done as I thought. I was having trouble coming up with a way to kind of transform some existing presentations I had done into a workshop. And I was working at a new presentation, working at some new slides. They weren't quite working properly. And so I'm struggling with that. And I posted actually in a Facebook group, in the Act Made Simple Facebook group. I can put a link down below. It's a great group of, I think there's like 30,000 people in there or something, ACT practitioners around the world who really just support each other, which is super cool. So I posted in there saying, hey, I'm doing this workshop. I do talks about ACT all the time, but doing sort of a 2-hour workshop is a new format to me. I'm not sure how interactive breakout rooms go and that sort of thing. And I was so impressed with the quality of the responses and fast responses. Lots of people had great things to say. Some people said to do 6 core processes and for each one do a metaphor and an activity. Some other people said, no, first share what you're experiencing and share from the heart what your experience has been with the pandemic, how it's impacting you, how you're using strategies. And then go into the more relevant core processes that your audience might be less aware of. So I did that today. I got it all set up this morning. I've used all of this content in one way or another, but I structured it all specific to the audience today. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good about it. I go on in about an hour. My dog isn't quite as excited. Or maybe she's cheering. I think it's that, hey, you're going to do great. But I can't wait to get started. I'm going to have a little snack before I get started. I finished my presentation today to the Occupational Therapy Association of Colorado group members and at their Resilience Thriving Together conference. And it was great. Really enjoyed myself. Went well, filled the whole 2 hours. People interacted. It was so good to get to know all these OTs and OT practitioners who were experiencing all the challenges throughout the pandemic, and it really filled my heart to be able to provide them with some validation, some strategies, some support, some space to share what they've been through and work through that. So now it's back to my old school travel board to take that one off the list and start prioritizing some of the other things that are coming up down the line. I'm really glad I got away on the weekend. A few things I would do differently next time. Make sure that I don't have any clients scheduled, so I would make sure to plan ahead so that there was no surprise and that was worked into the plan with the clients. I would make myself unavailable for social media and email, not trying to do all the jobs. And I would also have one focused project rather than a few. If you have any questions about taking a work retreat, please put them in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.